Alright, so there are 7 problems in this ed puzzle over congruent triangles. Remember, the highest you can make on this test now is a 70. This is for those who didn't take it or for those who got below a 70. Now, there was no reason for you to get below a 75 actually on this test because 15 out of the 20 problems were straight from the review. So if you did the review and had the review with you, you should have had at least 15 of the answers. Now, if you got below a 75, that means you probably didn't do the review or you just copied the solutions. So looking at number 1, I asked you to determine if 2 triangles below are congruent. So the first thing I need to do is I see that they share this side right here. So I'm going to put 3 tick marks on it since one set already has 1 and the other has 2. What that means though is I know that there's a set of sides congruent because they share it. Now I see that there's another set that each has 1 tick mark. So that's another set of congruent sides. And finally, there's this third set with 2 tick marks, so that means that the third set of sides is also congruent. So I know that yes, these triangles are congruent by side, 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 because it's one of our 5 that we use to prove congruence. Number 2, determine again if the 2 triangles are congruent. The first thing is that there's something special here that's not marked. These angles right here are actually vertical angles, and we learned early on that those are congruent. So I know that I have a set of angles that's congruent. I have another set of angle with 1 tick mark, so that's also another set of angles congruent. And then I see that I have 1 set of sides with 1 tick mark on it. So that's a set of sides there. These are also congruent, and they are congruent by angle, angle, side. The easiest way to do these is really just to look at the markings and list out what you have, and then we'll see in a minute how it kind of plays into which of the 5 it is. So again, we do have that situation with the vertical angles here, so I'm going to mark those. I see that I have 1 set of sides with 1 tick mark, so I know I have a set of congruent sides. I see that I have 1 set with 2 tick marks, so I have another set of congruent sides, and then I have those vertical angles I marked, so I have the angle. Now we don't have side-side angle, and that's one of the 2 I told you can't use. But when I look here, I do have 1 side, I have the vertical angle between them, and then the second side. These are actually congruent, and they're congruent by side, angle, side. So this is one of the ones where just listing it out isn't going to help you. You have to look at the placement to see if that angle is between the 2 sides. Now I'm looking here, and I see that I have a set of right angles. So that's 1 angle. I have angles that have 3 tick marks. That's another set of congruent angles. And finally, I have the third set of angles with 2 tick marks. These are similar triangles because of angle, 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 but this does not prove congruence. So this is NA or not enough information. Now the last of these congruent triangles is here. We'll go on to 2 other problems in just a second. So the first thing I see is that this is a right triangle. When you see a right triangle, the first thing you want to check is for something called hypotenuse leg. They do share their hypotenuse, which means that yes, they're congruent. And then if you look, they both have the long leg with 1 tick mark, meaning they do have a leg congruent. So these 2 triangles are congruent, and they're congruent by hypotenuse leg. Hypotenuse leg only works with right triangles, but that does not mean that all right triangles are congruent by this. They could be by side, 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 angle, side, any of those as well. Now these last 2 problems are with isosceles and equilateral triangles. In the video I showed y'all for these, I had y'all draw arrows across from the angles. That tells you which sides are congruent and what to set equal. So I know that 2x minus 16 is equal to 6. I want to solve for x by first adding 16 to both sides. When I do that, I'm left with 2x is equal to 22. And your last step is to divide both sides by 2, so x equals 11. Here it was just drawing those arrows and figuring out what to set equal. When it's sides, 95% of the time you're just setting them equal. Same thing here, we're going to take our angles, we're going to draw the arrows across so we know what sides are equal. This is an equilateral, so all sides are equal anyway. So I can set x plus 20 equal to 10. I want to solve for x, so my one and only step here is to subtract 20 from both sides, so x is equal to negative 10. There's going to be one more question that pops up, just kind of asking what you did wrong, what you learned, so wait for that to get credit.